So I'm moving bank, not because another bank has offered me some better deal. I'm moving bank because I'm fed up with the user experience of my current bank's mobile app. It's terrible. There isn't anything seriously wrong with the app. It's not broken as such, but as I use the app so many times a day and the little things begin to grate me with that level of use. Using their app feels like death by a thousand cuts, and so I saw the alternative and I thought, I've got no choice, I have to swap. You see, user experience matters enough to motivate people to move from one supplier to another. It's not even the big usability issues, it's the little things that build up to make a bigger problem. It's constantly dealing with the same little annoyance that never seems to get fixed. To show you what I mean, I want to walk you through the process of logging in to two separate banking apps, First Direct and Barclays. Now, we're just talking about logging in here, something that should be incredibly simple and straightforward. And logging into the Barclays mobile app is in fact a pleasure. You launch the app and enter your 5-digit PIN. No keyboard to fiddle with, just a clear numerical pad. For added security, they display an authentication phrase so that you know it's Barclays that you're logging into and that you've not been hacked or anything. Compared to that, First Direct is a nightmare. Upon launching the app, you see a series of options and it forces you to click on an extra button before you can get to the login screen. Now, you could argue that people don't need to log in for some of those options, so why make them? But those are edge cases. The majority of users are going to either want to log in to the app itself or generate a security code which also involves logging in. They've designed for the few at the expense of the many. Even the login is more complex than it needs to be. It requires a password of at least 8 digits long, including both upper and lowercase. Not to mention, of course, it needs to have at least one number. But what irritates me the most is the password box. When it finally does appear, you need to click into it before you can start typing, a totally unnecessary step. You might think that the First Direct login is more secure, maybe, but to be honest, I think Barclays are smart enough to realise that that shouldn't be my problem. They promise that if any fraud happens via any of their online apps, they'll cover the loss. They're willing to take the risk in order to provide me with a superior and simpler user experience. Once logged in, things don't get much better. On the First Direct app, the initial screen expands the side menu, which means I cannot even see my balances. The "Hello, how are you" message takes up a ridiculous amount of valuable real estate. Do they expect me to answer? What do they expect me to do with a statement like that? This is in stark contrast to the Barclays first screen. There I can get access to my balances and quick access to all the key tasks I want to complete. Making a payment, transferring money between an account, view statements, store locators, and even calling the bank itself. I particularly like the calling the bank facility that it provides in the app, as I don't need to verify myself when I call the call centre. All the security information is passed across automatically from the bank. So what are the lessons that we learn from comparing these two different apps? First of all, we learn that a bad user experience can drive customers away, and that a good user experience can be a key differentiator. We also learn that you need to design for the majority and not become too obsessed with those edge cases. Finally, you learn that not to make your problems, in this case security, the problems of your users. Spam is another great example of that. We often expect users to complete capture forms because we're getting too much spam, and that's entirely the wrong way round. We also should be focusing more on what the users actually want and removing all that superfluous copy that marketeers like to put into apps. And don't even get me started about First Direct's internet banking. That's even worse and deserves a whole video of its own.